What's up and welcome back to another video. Guys, today and over the next 24 hours, I'm going to be challenging myself to build a clone base out of Lego. Now, right behind me over here, I have the base plate that I've put together, and the only rules that I have for this mock is that I have to build a clone base on this base plate and it has to be done in 24 hours. So without further ado, let's get right on into this video. Now, my first order of business that I want to get done is I think it would be smart if I started with the terrain and then built a clone base on top of the terrain once that is finished. I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do. I know kind of the color scheme that I want to go for, but I do want a kind of a subtle incline with the base on top of a bit of a hill. So let's get started on this mock. I started by blocking off what I was going to build for the terrain later on. Once I started that, I got ready to start building up the wall that I was going to detail later on to get a more natural look to the terrain. Once I had the wall built, I was able to move on to working with some tiles, different tiles and plates to get a nice texturing on the ground. I went in with dark tan, and then I also went in with a nice medium nougat to start getting some diversity in the ground just to make it look overall a bit better. Once I finished up with that, I started to build up an upper part just to get more diversity in the height to make it look a little bit better and more natural on the ground. I began mixing some different tiles and different plates to get a more natural elevation change just so it wasn't a very jagged thing and it looked nice, and I was still able to pose minifigures on it later on. I struggled a little bit getting the filler brick in to the point where I could actually build on top of it and it still be stable, but after a little bit of trial and error, I moved on to building up the wall. I used a similar technique to what I used on my Ryloth series earlier this year, and after that I moved on to in front of the opening area where I was able to finish that off and start building the opening to this space. I went in with just a normal kind of gray, leaving the detail to the side for this time, so we'll come back later and work on that. For right now, I'm just focusing on getting the main shape and just build and foundation of this mock done. Once I started working on the entrance, I was able to get a nice archway built, and then I just had to add in some more support so it was able to support itself. Then moving on to the inside, I started to build up the rest of the walls. Once again, working less on detail and more just on getting this down and getting the foundation done because I am on a bit of a time crunch. Now, I had to build a ton of different pillars in order to hold this mock up because it's all going to be sitting on this, and if I don't put in the pillars, then I won't be able to build above it because it will just fall down. Okay, I finished tiling off on the inside of this base here. On this side, I'm going to have the hanger, and then over here, I'm going to have more of an interior. I actually have no clue what I want to use it for yet. I'm going to make it so these top parts can just pop right off like that so I can get in there, but on top of these is going to be the foliage to blend this into the rest. My idea is to have the top of this kind of just blend in with the rest of the foliage, and over here the building will come up and there'll be more of an open spot. I'll flip this around so you can see it just a little bit better from the other side, and we will take a look if this comes around nicely. And here I have kind of the entrance. Right here is where the entrance is going to be. No door there, unfortunately. It's just going to be open, and then right up here is where the foliage is kind of going to go over, and then the building's going to come up here, and I might do like a landing pad, something fun over here. I'm not really sure yet, but I do have to go get ready and go out for a little bit, so I'll be back a little bit later and we can finish off this mock. Okay, I am back. I did a little bit of work before I actually got back on camera, but I started working on tiling off up here. But next thing that I really want to do is finish tiling off up here, get the terrain kind of finished, and I can start building the upper part of the clone base. I think what I want to do is actually build a small part in the back there and then a larger part that is taller up above this kind of opening right there. I think that will look pretty cool. So I'm going to get to work and I'll catch you guys with a time lapse of me working on this. I quickly got to work building up the wall. I wanted to make it 2 or 3 thick just so it could hold up the roof and be strong enough, just because I'm not going to be able to build a back wall or else I'm not going to be able to access the interior. I then did the same thing on the other side, adding some panels to the wall for detail and working with some other detail as well. Once I figured out where I wanted it, I put the window in on the top so I could have minifigures looking out over, and then I built a door to connect the two spaces together and then started working on the back wall once again. Now I was kind of running low on pieces, so I had to stretch and get a little bit creative, but I was able to get it done and fill it out. Then I moved back to the other side, adding in some more supports so it could all sit up. Okay, I've finished the foundation of the base, and now it is time to start working on the detail for the interior, tiling it off. But the biggest thing that I don't really know what to do is actually what to use this interior space for. Something I struggle with a lot of my base mocks is actually using the interior space for something other than storage. So I'm not really sure what to build. I think as of right now, I want down here to be kind of like a hangar area in this open spot right here. Down here, I was gonna do some storage stuff, but up here, I'm not really sure what I wanna do yet, so I'll have to do some thinking. I know over here I want kind of like a command center type thing, but I have to work on tiling it off, which might be challenging because I don't have too many tiles left, and I also have to get working on the roof, and then doing all of the detail out front. So let's get started on all of this. I got to work tiling and adding some detail. I added in a weapon rack full of a bunch of different weapons, and then I got to work tiling. Now I had to stretch my tiles out quite a bit, but I was able to get it done. I finished off all of the tiling, and now the last thing that I have to do is add the final touches, build the roof, and do some final details. So I want to finish off this mock, and then I'll hit you guys with the grand reveal. The 24 hours is up and the mock is done. I didn't actually get to do exactly what I had set out to do just because of the time limit. I did kind of run out of time. I think maybe it would have been better to do 48 for this challenge instead of 24 hours, but nonetheless, I am still happy with what I was able to get done in the time. I think overall, I got what I wanted done, which I am happy with. So I will give you the quick rundown. Starting out on the outside, we have our droid assault on the base, but has been intercepted by 5s, Rex, and some other 501st clone troopers who are also coming out in a swamp speeder in the opening at the bottom. I really do like the entrance to this base. This is how I had it imagined, and I'm happy with how it turned out going in, and then you can see back into the base there as well. I would have liked to have do some sort of door. It just wasn't gonna work with the time that I had allotted for this video, but I think the overall silhouette and look of this base turned out better than I was expecting. There are some like small things like right there with the door opening. There's nothing I can really put there to cover that up, unfortunately. I probably could have thought of something if I had a little bit more time, but I still do like how it turned out. You have a small window here with Anakin overlooking the battle along with some officers who are about to come out, but we'll take a look at that once we move on to the interior of the base. And I have some small detailing on the wall, and over here I put some panels on the wall as well, which I think helps out a lot and just makes this look a lot better and more detailed. Now for this upper part, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to get done here. I think I filled it out as nicely as I could, but I would have wished to have done a little bit more detail here. I think it would have ended up looking quite a bit better. But we have our other entrance on the top of the base right here, where some clones are coming out of. I do like all of the different entrances that I included in this space, just something that I always forget to do, and I think when you do include them, it turns out really good. And then there's a small pathway with some other clones walking in, and a ARF trooper posted up right there. Now moving to the roof, this is where I did really kind of run out of time and pieces, so it is just a very basic roof, but I mean, it gets the job done. A roof is a roof at the end of the day. I would have liked to have done a little bit more detail up here. We have this small antenna right here, and then I decided to put two clones kind of just patrolling, making sure that everything is going as planned. But now we can move into the main portion of this mock, which is the interior of the base. Now, interiors are normally something that I struggle with quite a lot when I am building mock bases, just in general. Oh, this whole wall just came off. I tried to make this removable. Unfortunately, the entire wall just came off when I took this took this off. So that's not supposed to happen, but as long as the roof comes off good enough, we can get in here and take a look. But like I was saying, I do kind of struggle filling up my interior spaces just because I tend to stick to building the exterior, and I like doing terrain work, versus when it comes to the inside, I kind of draw a blank and don't know what to include. But starting off in here, we have a bit of an armory. Right here, we have a pretty large weapon rack with some clones grabbing their stuff. We have a small spot for clones' helmets to sit while they are in the base, and then we just have some other clones just walking around. I would have liked, once again, if I had some more time, to have utilized this space a little bit better. But coming on to the other side through this door, which I do really like. I love having the doors in the mocks. I don't know why, it just makes it seem more realistic. But we have our little brig area up here, the whole area where Anakin is overlooking out the window, and then we have a slew of other different controls and stuff like that, a targeting computer, a hollow screen with some officers at work, and a clone standing guard as well. Now moving on to the bottom part down here, unfortunately this does not come off. I wanted it to be able to come off and come out into thirds. It just wasn't going to work. There's not really too much going on here. This was one of the areas that I got a little bit lazy, but it is just some storage. We have some clones down here sitting. I'll get some light in there for you. We have some clones and we have some storage. Nothing special really going on down here. I would have liked to have utilized this just a little bit better. And then coming to the far left side, on the other side of the entrance, we have another swamp speeder with a clone doing a little bit of work and a small grate on the wall. Now I'll take you back outside to look at the rest of this mock. And that does it for this 24-hour mock challenge. I would say in the end, I'm fairly happy with how this turned out, but let me know what you thought about this, and let me know what you would like to see me build next, or if you want to see me do this again on a larger time constraint and a larger scale. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.